Hi everyone, welcome to ZyNerd's session on the NEET PG registration form for 2024. We are starting this year's admission process with the NEET PG 2024 registration. We will be taking you through the entire registration process demo. One of the main reasons why the registration process for NEET PG is critical is because if you're very particular about your test center, the city of your choice, then because it is on a first come first serve basis, it becomes very critical. It is not that you need to do anything in haste or you need to be worried about it. Obviously, even if that is a different test center, you just have to travel, but to be comfortable, it is always better to have a test center of your choice. Don't miss out anything just because you want a test center of your choice. Even though edit windows would be available, image changes can be made at a later point in time, it is always better to complete it right the first time. We'll help you out with the complete registration demo. We are doing a live demo for the first time. We usually pick up many challenges and then put in a demo for you. But last year there were requests from candidates saying that if you can do it on the day one, we'll be able to fill it up. So within an hour, we have gone through the entire information brochure. We have gone through one set of doing the entire process within the last 1 hour, and we are trying to give as much information as possible for you to help you. We'll also look at all the clarifications. What are the documents required, OBC, EWS related clarifications, what is the test center, MBBS percentages, and every query that has come up, we'll be taking you through. It will be a slightly longer session. Once you go through this, you will be able to fill it on your own. Don't do it in parallel. You can do it, but ensure that everything is covered, because some of the information we provide will be towards the end of the session that will be helpful for you to register in the first two or three sections. So where do you go in? You go to nbe.edu.in. It is mentioned as natboard.edu.in, but you go into nbe.edu.in and click on NEET PG over here. It will open up the page, entrance examination page, where you have the 2024 listed out today. So the timelines, we will quickly run you through the timelines. The important dates: 16th April today, from 3 p.m. the registration has been open on time, and it will be up till 6th of May till 11:55. At the end of the day, it will close, and you will have edit windows later. We will discuss that at a later point in time. Your exam admit card will come in only on 18th June 2023, and you will have a demo test on 10th June 2023 available. Most of you would have known how the test would be knowing how the test would happen with your because you would have been taking tests, multiple tests with your coaching centers. But if you want to have a proper demo test, you can also come back on 10th June 2023. The dates that you should not miss out are: 1, 10th, by 6th May, you should have completed your application form. By the 28th of May, there will be a pre-edit window. In case you have there is an issue with the images that you have uploaded, not the edit window, but the pre-edit window. In case there is an issue with the images that you have uploaded, signature, thumb impression, or the photo, your passport photo, you will be intimated on the 28th of May through a PDF which will be shared in the portal, where against your roll number, whether in case there is an issue, there will be an intimation. You will have to keep looking at that information. Second, you will have to confirm on the 7th of June again, if your name is part of the list where you need to upload details. So these two are also very critical. So keep in mind these dates. In case you have done an error in the application form, except for 5-6 fields, rest of the fields can be changed. That will happen in an edit window from the 10th of the May. So these are the timelines. We'll look at the timelines in detail later too, and as we move forward. What is required before you start your registration? What is required? You will need at least one of these: voter ID or PAN card or driving license or passport. Aadhaar is also allowed for and as a photo ID for the examination, but the details that might be requested are voter ID, PAN, driving license, passport. We'll also look at whether Aadhaar is required. You will not be required to upload these documents. The first set of documents, the 3, you will not be required to upload. You will only need the exact numbers or the ID numbers that are there in the documents. Second, percentage of marks, your first year marks, second year marks, and the final year marks. Final year is part 1 and part 2 aggregate. So basically sum up all the total marks that you have got in all the subjects in part 1 and part 2 divided by the total marks in part 1, part 2, not an average of part 1, part 2. But even if you have done that, that is not an issue. But ideally, all the subject marks put together in part 1 and part 2 by the total max marks in part 1 and part 2, that will give you the final year marks. And percentage of all 4-year marks will be taken, same formula, sum up all the marks that you have got by the total marks. That will give you the subject marks. So percentage for final year. So which this we will start the visibility of the browser page. So we are going ahead, like we said, we are going ahead with an application. We submit, and then you will have these instructions and also a privacy notice on why each of these fields have been requested. Then you can go ahead over here and then log in. How did we come in over here? You went to nbe.edu.in, you go to NEET PG and then go to the application link where you will have all the details, and you will have to go to register and then enter over here. So we are starting with the registration process here. You start with your candidate's name. The candidate's name has to be exactly as per your MBBS records. So you have to check your MBBS degree certificate and enter your the candidate's name as in your MBBS certificate. Note that this should ideally be the same as what you have in your voter ID, PAN card, Aadhaar card, or passport. At least one of these, or your driving license. If it is not the same, it is not an issue. Let us say your name is Raghuram Rajkumar, but your voter ID says Raghuram R, and your father's name is Rajkumar. That is also perfectly fine. It should not be an issue. But if your name is Raghuram Rajkumar in your MBBS certificate and your voter ID says something else, then there is an issue, completely different, says Raghu alone. Then there might be an issue. That needs to be sorted out. You should need to either change your name in your date of in your voter ID at a later point in time, and then bring the right credentials during the examinations. If it is a minor issue with respect to expansion of spellings being the other way around, it's Rajkumar Raghuram, R Raghuram, etc. Those are not issues at all. So go ahead and fill in as per your MBBS certificate. That is what they have mentioned, and then if you still have an issue, you can go ahead and mention some as per your ID card, and then take a call later too. Date of birth, mention your date of birth. This is as in your records. You need to have your birth certificate at a later point in time when you are actually going for the counseling. So this, be very clear on what you are mentioning. And gender, you can mention the gender, select the exact gender. Nationality, here there's always a confusion. Indian, obviously, if you have not gone abroad, you're an Indian citizen. You have never gone abroad, you have gone abroad only for a short period of time, then you are an Indian citizen. In case you as a candidate is an NRI, as in you are an NRI, since you have gone abroad for 182 days or more in the previous financial year, you are qualified as an NRI, select NRI. Don't select NRI because you are looking at NRI seats, or because your NEET UG you have done using taking an NRI sponsorship. That doesn't have anything to do with this nationality part. This nationality field means which national are you? Are you an Indian national? And within Indian nationals, if you are an NRI, select NRI. If you as a candidate, whoever is writing the exam is an NRI, then select NRI. If you want to take up NRI seats later, you will have a provision later to change from Indian to NRI. You have been in India throughout your life, but you have an NRI sponsor. Your father is an NRI, mother is an NRI. You will still select Indian and later change during the counseling process. There will be a list of documents required, later change to NRI. So be very clear, this is whether you are an Indian or you are an NRI. So if you are an Indian, select Indian. If you are an NRI, select NRI. Note that if you are an NRI candidate, you will still be eligible for Indian seats. You will be eligible for all Indian seats, and you will also be eligible for management quota seats under deemed universities. The non-NRI seats, usually called the paid seats, that also you will be eligible for. So if you are an NRI candidate, select NRI. If you are an Indian candidate, select Indian. Next, if you are an overseas citizen of India, select OCA. Overseas citizens of India are those who have India as an origin or native, but have taken up another citizenship, another country's citizenship, giving away the Indian citizenship. They would have an OCA card. Fundamentally, if you have an OCA card now, you are eligible for claiming OCA based nationality. Go ahead and do that. You will be eligible for Indian seats, but under the UR category, that you can take up later. But if you have an OCA card, select OCA. If you are a foreign citizen, you are a Nepal citizen, you are a citizen of another country, but not an OCA, then select non-OCA foreign citizen. Depending upon what you select, the options will also be populated. If you are an overseas citizen of India, your nationality will be asked, and non-OCA citizen, your nationality will need to be mentioned. If you we'll take up the case of an Indian citizen, and we will mention the numbers. You mention your phone number and an alternate number. The alternate mobile number is not usually used, but note that your phone number needs to be with the mobile number that you're sharing needs to be with you till the end of the counseling process. For All India Counseling, your OTP for registration for All India Counseling later will come in this mobile number. In case there is a verification in a state on whether the exact candidate is registering, there are a few states which do that. Your OTP will directly come to this mobile number. You will not be able to change that. So don't give a mobile number that you won't recharge in 3 months, 4 months, etc. Give a proper mobile number that you'll use for the next 6 months. Similar to that is the email ID. The email ID needs to be mentioned. So here we are mentioning the email ID of the candidate. All communication will come to this email ID. All OTPs, any alerts will come to this mobile number. These should not be changed, and especially when registering for All India Counseling, you will use the same exact mobile number and email ID. Otherwise, you will not be able to register for All India Counseling. So save this. Don't give somebody else's mobile number. If you give it to an agent and they have this, it is their mobile number, every time you will have to ask the agent for an information or an OTP at a later point in time, till the, not only till the exam is over, but till the entire process of counseling is over. So this is very critical. Now note that we have given the candidate's name, date of birth, nationality, mobile number and email ID. These fields cannot be changed at a later point in time. Gender alone can be changed, date of birth can be changed during the edit window, not now, during registration. So check everything once if everything is right, and then go ahead and generate an OTP. We'll just check on the email ID part and then go ahead. Yeah. So okay, so you can check all the details, the nationality and everything, and generate an OTP. Where will you have an, so here some of the candidates are having an issue in terms of getting the CAPTCHA code wrong. You can just refresh the CAPTCHA code if required and then go ahead with the CAPTCHA code in case you have a problem. Hopefully this is right. Okay, so we have got an OTP. We have got both a mobile OTP and then email OTP. The mobile OTP we receive. So hold on, we'll just wait for the OTP. There have been issues here too. So we've got the OTP instantly, unlike last year where there was an issue. You will get it from NB exam. So from this particular name, you can enter the mobile OTP. So this has been validated. We'll get the email OTP as well. So you will get it from nbms@mail.digalm. In case it is in spam, you can search just using this. You can copy the type this out and then search. You will have that. So this doesn't work. So email ID has been validated. Now you have a declaration over here, and on mentioning this CAPTCHA, you can preview to check all the details whether everything is right or not. You would have already received everything, all emails, so email, mobile should be right, and then go ahead and say re-verify. What is this for? This is final verification, because you might not be able to change name, date of birth, gender, nationality, mobile number, email ID again during the registration process. So be very clear about it. Select all, select one by one after checking, and then you will have the submit button available. Just submit. The information cannot be modified. Check once and then go ahead. Now this is the application form, first stage, which is over. You have your user ID, password, user ID which is available over here. Copy it and select and paste it in a notepad. You can even email it to yourself. That is one option available. Or you can take a screenshot too of the entire thing and then save it somewhere else. So this will always be helpful. Taking a screenshot and sharing it, saving it somewhere will also be helpful. This will at least, this has the user ID. We will have to go back to the email to check on the email ID password which we would have received. Let us see whether we have received the password. We have not got the password yet. So we will let you know how to use the password, etc. But once you log in again, we'll also let you know how to log in again. What you need to do is, in case you need to log in again, you can use the user ID and password to log in from this link. You go in, mention your user ID password, you will be able to log in. It will take you to the same page which we have over here. We've got the user ID and password. So this can take up and log in again. We'll just show you how to log in again so that that part is also clear. So it says you are ready to complete your application. So at any point in time you want to connect after submitting your application, you can go to the help desk option over here. This will be visible only after you finish the first step of getting your application ID. Now you got your application ID, date of birth, etc. So this is the main page you will see when you go to login after completing your application. Now you can go to the application and edit all the details. So this is what we'll have. You have the personal details over here, identification details, and then once you complete, you will be able to move on to the next steps. You have the personal details over here. Note that, like we said, the application ID, the candidate's name, date of birth, gender, and nationality, you will not be able to change. Here, you can enter your father's name. This should be as per records, and mother's name as per records, and select a religion. This religion might not be relevant for state counselings, whatever you select, but when you're looking at All India counselling, there are Jain minority seats and Muslim minority seats in All India counselling under deemed universities. So if you belong to the Jain minority religion or Muslim minority religion, then you can select selecting this will give you an advantage if you're looking at those deemed university seats in those 3 institutes, which are 1 Jain minority institute and 2 Muslim minority institute. If you belong to but select your religion here anyways, and category for counseling of MCC. So this is another query that comes up very frequently. This field is not relevant for the state counselings. First, be very clear, for your state counseling, state quota, you will be registering separate and you will be giving another category. Similarly, if you belong to OBC in the state, BC in the state, MBC in the state, OBC A in the state, etc., that doesn't matter. This is the central reservation that we are looking at here for All India counselling. How do you know whether you are OBC for All India counselling? There are 2 criteria. It is basically OBC non-creamy layer. You can just search for OBC NCL ZyNerd in YouTube. You will have the entire details of how to check on that. But fundamentally, if you are another backward class, based on the National Commission for Backward Classes list, which is available in the NCBC portal. So there is this portal called NCBC where you will have the list details. As of now, the portal is not functioning, but you can take down the link available here. We'll also share that in the description. Go to NCBC, check your state's list of castes which come under OBC. First, your caste category should be under that list. Second, you check whether you fall under the non-creamy layer. How do you do that? If your parents, even if you are married, whether you're married, whether you're not married, your parents' annual income in the last 3 financial years ending 2024, which basically is 2023-24, 22-23, 21-22. In all these years, it should have been 8 lakhs or less. So every year it should have been 8 lakhs or less. And in that case, you belong to the non-creamy layer. So if both these conditions are met, then you belong to OBC. But you might have a confusion. I don't know whether I am OBC or not. Will I be able to apply now? What if I apply as OBC now and later I am not given an option? I don't get an OBC certificate. In that scenario, till last year, there was an option to change your category in the All India counselling. Like we already mentioned, this is only for All India counselling by MCC. So during All India counselling, even if this mentions OBC, you will be able to change to a general category given what happened last year. We don't have confirmation on that, but this was possible for the last 3 years. But if you give us Gen here and then later go ahead and try to change it as OBC because you got an OBC certificate, that is definitely not possible. That was not possible for the last 3 years. So always a better option is, if you are confused, if you are not able to get confirmation, or you want a test center to be immediately selected, go ahead and select the option of OBC if you are not very clear, and then later you can change. Either during the edit window they will allow you to change. There is one place in the prospectus this time where they have added that category cannot be changed, but in all other places they have clearly mentioned that the category only a few fields which cannot be changed, or category is not part of the few fields that cannot be changed. So it should be allowed in the edit window. Even if it is not allowed in the edit window, during the counseling process till last year it was allowed. With this information you can go ahead. That is the best option that you have if you want your test center, or you can wait for your OBC certificate for you to get your OBC certificate and then apply later. It is your call. Same for EWS as well. If you are a general candidate, you fall under the economically weaker section, select general EWS, yes, over here. For both these, certificates are not required to be uploaded now. Note that no certificate is required to be taken for the exam. No certificate is required for the counseling. At the time of admissions, 10 days after the counseling process is over, starts, you will have the admissions, right, for All India. That is when your OBC certificate is required, EWS certificate is required. So currently no upload is required. On the date of exam also nothing is required. So you can go ahead, if you are eligible for OBC, apply as OBC and later you can take a certificate or change to general. That might be possible. That is the best option as of now. Place of birth, there are a lot of queries on it, whether you should write state, hospital name, address, etc. Just mention the name of the city that you are born in. That is enough. City or the town. Usually place of birth is mentioned in your transfer certificate or in your ration card, etc. So smart card, etc. So if you have that, that is fine. Otherwise, just mention the city that you are born in or the town or the location. This doesn't make any difference. Don't need to worry about this much. If you are a person with disabilities, with benchmark disabilities, the PGMET regulations or the act prescribes under PWD criteria for doing a medical course. Based on that, if you are eligible to get eligible as a person with disability, then you can select yes over here. If not, select no. Note that this year they have added a small clause in terms of requirements for PWD candidates. It's mentioned that the certificate of disability has to be taken for the examination. This is not the certificate of disability which is to be done during the counseling. That is from the 16 disability centers, which can be done at a later point in time. This time they have mentioned that a certificate of disability has to be taken if you are looking for a scribe. Otherwise it is not required. You will be when do you need your PWD certificate? The evaluation will open up only during the counseling. During the counseling, a week before the counseling, they will open up, week or 2 weeks before the counseling, they will open up the PWD centers, 16 centers which are available in the prospectus. You need to go there with all your certificates and then get a PWD certificate generated online from intra-MCC, and the person, evaluating doctors will have to sign that, qualified professionals will sign that and give it to you. That is when you need the PWD, that certificate is alone valid for All India counseling. For state counseling, state might have a different process. Right now, for All India counseling, mention yes over here in case you, and you don't need to take a PWD certificate even for the exam unless you want a scribe. If you want a scribe, then you might have to take that. Are you willing to take up Armed Forces Medical Services? Yes, you can mention over here. Nothing else needs to be mentioned like earlier. You can mention yes over here. That is fine. The mobile numbers and everything is already there. Like you see, you cannot change application ID, name, nationality, gender, date of birth, mobile number, email ID. Of these two, date of birth and gender, are editable later during the edit window. But right now you registered, so you will not be able to edit it. In case you made a mistake, at this stage you realize that you have made a mistake, there are two options available. One, if your mistake is in the date of birth or gender, go ahead and apply. Later you can come in during the edit window and modify. You can even submit and make payment. But if your issue is in the candidate's name, you find that there is a spelling mistake, 3-4 spelling mistakes, till the end of the counseling this name is what will populate. Log out, do a fresh registration with another mobile number and email ID which you will use till the end of the counseling. That is fine. This year MCC, from last year MCC has clearly mentioned you can do that. A second application can be submitted. Let us say you have a problem at a later point in time after submission. We will also let you know what to do at the end of the session. But as of now, check once again, because you're going in with these details which cannot be edited. Do you have a government issued voter ID card? You have 4 of these. Aadhaar is not mentioned over here, but Aadhaar is allowed as a photo ID. You can take your Aadhaar. You don't need to mention. That alone is sufficient. Among these, one needs to be taken for the examination. Voter ID, PAN, driving license or passport. Any one needs to be taken for the examination. So what if I have an expired voter ID, expired passport, or expired driving license? Don't give that information. That is not going to be useful. But you can give any other, you can give the PAN card or voter ID. Obviously, you will have at least one of these which is not expired. Second, my passport is expiring in the next month before the examinations are going to happen. Don't give that. Third, I have 3 IDs in this. Should I give them? Yes. We would suggest if you have a voter ID, PAN card, driving license, all 3, mention all these 3. And then go ahead. How does it help? You need to mention the validities over here when you select passport or voter ID. I hope most of us do have that, given that elections are coming up. So on the voter ID at least. So here your driving license validity you can mention over here. Similarly, if you select passport, you will have to mention the passport validity as well. We are selecting no over here. So where does it help? I need only one ID for going for the examination. In case you provide 3, and any one of these, and that ID is not available at that time, you lost it, etc. The original, you lost it, you don't have it, you won't have another option to take another ID. You can take your Aadhaar obviously, but still it is always better to give 3 of them and then take any one of them. It is an additional advantage. You lose one of them, you lose your Aadhaar, you don't have your Aadhaar, you don't have your PAN voter ID, at least your driving license will be available with you. Second, if the name is different, very different, like we have mentioned Raghu Rajkumar, your name in this ID is something completely different. You took it at a time and then changed your name, or similar issues are there, then that might not be useful. But if it is a simple thing like an expansion of initial, etc., that is fine. Like it is Raghu Rajkumar over here in your application form, and it is Raghu R, and your father's name is mentioned as Rajkumar in your voter ID, it is perfectly fine. Mark of identification, mention any mark, and then go ahead and save. Next. So you will need this ID, and then now you move into the next page. Here you have the correspondent address and the permanent address. Correspondence address, as we know, is for correspondence, where you are currently. It should ideally be where you are currently, or some place where you want your correspondences to go. What are the correspondences that happen from NBE? Nothing happens over post. Absolutely nothing happens over post. So this is an address which is taken just in case there is an emergency and there is a correspondence required. That will be done. Otherwise, your email ID and phone number is where all your alerts, your OTPs and everything will come in on your phone number primarily, and all your mails, whether there is a new edit window open, everything will come in your email address. Those two are the correspondence modes. But here you can mention your correspondence address. And mention the details over here. Now this has a significance though. Even though we mentioned your correspondence address will not have any correspondence coming in case now when we are going to finally submit, there is a test city selection, correct? That is the primary thing why we are doing it as early as possible. When the test city selection happens, let us say I belong to the state of Tamil Nadu, I am looking at a test city called Kanyakumari. It is not available. What do? You have an option of selecting a nearby test city, and even if that is not available, you will select others or another state. You have an option. If you select another state test city, obviously you will be placed in that test city. But if you select others, there is a possibility under the selection of test city, if you select others, there is a possibility that in this particular state of your correspondence address, you will get a test city, because some people might not end up paying, some people might not end up, might have their applications rejected, new numbers may come up in certain test cities. So within your state of correspondence, which is Tamil Nadu, you might get a test city, which will be an advantage for you. So giving this correspondence address has only one actual need to it, that is to get your test city in case it is others. But if you are able to select your test city now itself, then that is not a problem. You can check whether the permanent address is the same as the correspondence address. If it is no, you will have to fill this up. If you give it as yes, automatically it gets filled. So a permanent address does not Permanent address does not have this test city based confusion, but test based correlation. But there is one thing that the permanent address carries. West Bengal, let us say, if you're going to apply as a resident of West Bengal for the state quota seats of West Bengal, your permanent address state here should have been mentioned as West Bengal. Very few states take information from this NBE registration for the state quota. Like we have been mentioned, OBC, SC, ST, all the categories, the NRI option is not taken from this particular NBE exam application by the states. But later, certain states take this permanent address for domicile or resident related criteria. So always give your right permanent address over here. This is a right permanent address, so we are going ahead, and now we enter the academic details. Academic details, straight away, state of completion of 10th, state of completion of 12th. We are giving it as per our academic details. Select your country of MBBS completion. This is where FMGE candidates also, for FMGE candidates, this is of relevance as well. Let us say you have completed in Georgia. You can mention it as Georgia. Select the city of completion details, mention which city you've completed this in, and then university, college, and everything you will have to mention it by text because it will be others. If you are selecting your completion MBBS of completion country as India, then you can select the particular state of completion and the city of completion where you completed, university of completion, name of the college, and the date of passing. Now the date of passing, there is a lot of confusion. What is the date of passing? Is it the date I wrote my last exam? Is it the date I got my attempt certificate? Is it the date mentioned in my final year MBBS mark sheet? Is it the date mentioned in when I got my degree certificate? Something is mentioned in my degree certificate. The date of passing is ideally the date when your results come in. There will be a date when the results are published. That is the date which is to be mentioned. So mention that. If your date of results is not available, mention the date that is mentioned in your degree certificate. That is not available, mention the date that is mentioned in your mark sheet. Even that date is not available, mention the date which you actually wrote your exams, or if you know the passing date, mention that passing date exactly as when the results came in. So let us say you have only your degree certificate which mentions the date of passing, year of passing as Feb 2023. Now it is Feb 2023. What do I put in here? There is a date that is asked. I don't have a 2023. Don't worry about this. This field is not used anywhere. This is just in case they want to check at a later point in time for those who are committing forgery or fraud in terms of completion of MBBS in itself. Don't worry about it. Mention the date of passing. This is not something that you need to take a lot of time to keep looking at, etc. It is okay if you mention any one of these. If a date is available in your certificates, just mention that. Either it can be your final year mark sheet or your results sheet or your degree certificate. That is perfectly fine. This is not going to be validated anywhere. This is just a reference point. As long as you have one logic attached to it, that is fine. Have you completed your internship? If you are saying no, then mention where you are completing your internship and institute where you are completing your internship. Date of start of internship. So you can clearly see that you cannot select a date which is beyond August 16, 2023 because the last date of internship is obviously August 15, 2023. We are taking that example and then putting in August completion of internship. Obviously it has to be August 15, 2023. So let us say I select a previous date. It is available, but it says if you select a date which is not 1 year plus the date of start, it obviously gives you an error. It should. And sorry, I think we committed a mistake here. That is why there is an issue. So here we selected 16/8/2023 to 15th/8, which is the last date. If you have, this is for those who have not yet completed your internship. If you have completed your internship, same process. Here you mention the complete institute. If the number of characters are less, that is fine. In case your institute name is long and then it doesn't fit in, that is also fine. No issues there. Okay. and medical council registration. You might have a permanent medical council registration or a provisional medical council registration, right? If you just passed out, completed your MBBS very recently, then you might have a provisional registration till your final CRRI is done. You might not have a permanent registration. So in those scenarios, you might need to give your current provisional registration certificate. There are some queries on candidates who have moved between states. I have done my MBBS from Delhi. I am a native of Maharashtra. I did my MBBS from Delhi. Currently, I am working in Rajasthan. Can I give, I am registered in Rajasthan because I am working state medical council. I took an NOC from Delhi and then went to Rajasthan and registered in Rajasthan Medical Council after taking an NOC from the Delhi Medical Council. Which one should I put in? Whatever is valid currently, you can put that in. In case you have a provisional, put in the provisional. At a later point in time, if you get a permanent registration certificate, you can take that too. Not a problem at all. It need not be necessary that the exact certificate needs to be taken for the examination. There are a lot of candidates who will have to renew their certificates at this point in time. Start the renewal now itself, no problem. You take any valid registration during the examination, that is fine. But for now, whatever you have valid currently, that you can mention over here. If you have two valid registrations, some states allow to move on to another registration without an NOC. In that case, both the certificate registrations will be valid, as it has happened. So with certain states, so it happens with certain states. So just take those any one of those registration certificates and mention those registration certificates over here. Okay, so we're mentioning this registration certificate, and now mention your first MBBS and the second MBBS pass percentages. So up to 2 decimal places it is. So this might be a little higher, but and final MBBS, like we said, it is part 1 plus part 2 combined. Total the marks obtained, sum of the marks obtained in for all the subjects put together in part 1 and part 2 by the total marks, maximum marks that can be obtained. So, and aggregate percentage for all the years put together. So this is similar, all the MBBS years put together, put in a percentage. Where is this relevant? See, we have a tie-breaking criteria basically based on the number of questions answered, positive, negative, etc. And then based on the date of birth, there is a third level check done in case the total questions correct is also similar. Then if the date of birth is also similar, then when two candidates score the same marks with all first 3 level criteria, then your percentage marks is taken. So you have to mention the right percentage marks. We have not come across such a scenario till now where the date of birth is also similar based on previous year's candidates information, but still it is always better to put in the right aggregate percentage marks over here and give this information, additional information. If you have appeared already in NEET PG, no issues at all. So usually it will be no for here. Yes, you will have to inform in case you have been deported, rusticated, or in case you are you've been charged with unfair means earlier. It is better to do that honestly. And have you been appeared in NEET PG previously? No issues if you have appeared last year in NEET PG. No issues if you are if you are actually in a course now. You are still eligible. NBE does not, or at least the rules of PG Med regulations does not mention anywhere that somebody who is already who had actually written NEET PG last year cannot write this year. It does not mention that somebody who is pursuing a course cannot write NEET PG. Somebody who pursued a course and did not and left the course, they still can write NEET PG. So basically everybody can write NEET PG. There is no criteria which says that somebody cannot write NEET PG 2024. So you can as well give yes, give last year's roll number, no issues at all, and you can also mention the last appearing year. Okay, so this is actually month, so year of appearing in last PG. Now here by giving this roll number, there is nothing which is an issue except for one set of candidates. Last year in the stray vacancy round and the special stray vacancy round, there was a debarment clause in All India Counselling. Same was done by West Bengal as well, mentioning that there will be a debarment. They will send across the information to NMC for this year's debarment. If you are a candidate who took up a seat in stray round of All India Counselling, special stray round of All India Counseling, if you are allotted and you did not join this and then later you quit, that is not under purview at least as per the rule, but you did not join, then you might be debarred. In that case, you are not eligible for NEET PG. Even if you write, go ahead, hide these details and write. What happened last year was their results were not published. So it is up to you to take a call. That might be the only relevance of this. This has been happening. This request, roll number has been taken for a lot many years for other purposes, but debarment is one criteria. There's a debarment criteria for certain set of candidates. Now we have the test city details and the test center details. Now before we get into the document, we select this. This is where it becomes critical. Now I select Tamil Nadu and I see all cities available, which is good. You can go ahead and fill in. I select Delhi. I see Delhi NCR, which is possibly the only city. And here you actually seem to have lost a few. Yeah, everything is available as of now at least. So go ahead and fill in. Just select the city that you wish to write your exam in. So most of the cities are available now, and you can select a particular city. It can be any city that you want. Doesn't matter where you did your MBBS, where you are currently located, what your correspondence address is, etc. Irrespective of whatever it is, you have a city available here. You're interested in writing the examination from that city because you're comfortable. Select that city. This doesn't have anything to do with your registration, MBBS, domicile, or any other factor of association with the city. Okay, so you can select the city that you're interested in. So we have a city which I am selecting a city that I am interested in. Sorry. Okay, and save and next. Now note that once you submit this application form, before submitting this application form, I can come back, change anything. I went on to the next page, but still I came back and I'll be able to change everything over here. So I can come back, change everything except for these details. But once I submit the application form, in addition to whatever we mentioned earlier, the personal details, candidate's name, nationality, mobile number, email ID, and test city cannot be changed even during the edit window. So that make it very clear. Take a proper decision on the test city and also then go ahead and finally provide the test city. You're not going to apply anyway. So, and now comes your passport size photograph and real-time photograph. You can take a real-time photograph if you're going to click and upload. There are two options here. One is photograph as far as your photograph is concerned. One is a upload photograph option. Both you need to do, which is an 80 KB file, 50 to 80 KB file, which is in a particular size which is mentioned. All the details are available in the images upload section, in the upload images help document. You can go through that. It is a very simple process. It is not a very difficult process. The background, 70% phase should be available, etc. All those details are available. It is a simple process. Capturing your photograph can directly, you can capture the photograph using a camera available, and you need to have a background. That is it. That is the only thing that you need to be clear about, as in you need to have a white background. And you can use your spectacles in case you have already done it. It is suggested that you don't use your spectacles or goggles, but in case you have done that, there have been images which have been accepted too with spectacles. The user manual, image upload user manual, it has an image with the spectacles only, so it is not a problem. In case you are looking at an upload photo, it mentions 3 months, that it should be from the past 3 months, but if there is no major change from the last year, don't need to take the trouble. If the face, there's no much of a difference between the photograph and your actual face as on date, so not a problem at all. You can actually go in and go ahead and upload that photograph. The thing is, at the time of examination, this time as an additional clause, we went through every clause. So as an additional clause, they have mentioned that the face ID which is taken up during the examination, the photo basically that you upload over here, and your face will be checked. We don't know, every year it is checked, but they have mentioned it as an additional clause. That is for your information. So no major changes should be there in terms of appearance basically. This is for the capture photograph clause, and then this is for the scan signature upload part. scan signature, the details are very given. One question that usually comes up is whether the signature can have a border or not. It doesn't make a difference. The border, even with the border, if you are able to exactly cut it with the border, that is fine. If it doesn't have a border, that is also fine. But ensure that the size of the image and the clarity, there's good clarity on the image as well, and the exact size is maintained. The ratios are maintained of the image that you upload. Similarly, your left thumb impression image and medical council registration certificate, which should be a PDF certificate. The rest all can be JPG images. So you use a scanner, you use an already existing JPG image, that is all fine for these photographs as well. So that is pretty much payment mode. Payment is 3,500 here. I'm not sure whether we selected Gen EWs, I think. It depends upon which category you belong to, 3,500 or 2,500. So that is pretty much, and I say I agree, and given the details, you will be taken to the payment details. Note that you will make the payment through a payment gateway. The payment gateways may be multiple or single. We haven't checked that yet. We'll leave it to you. The payment gateway says SBA does not mean that only SBA account holders will be able to do that, make a payment there. You select SBA like you do in Amazon. Select an SBA payment gateway or any payment gateway. Within that, there will be multiple bank options available. You will have credit card, debit card, UPA options and net banking options to pay this 3,500. So it doesn't matter. But once you make the payment details will mention success. Only after it mentions success. We are not completing the form here. We are repeating. Only after this payment details are mentioned as success, your application form will be submitted. In case you don't submit this by the 6th of May, edit option is not available for you. You can't come back and edit it later at a point in time when the edit option opens. Edit option is only for those who have made the payment and the application form mentions payment as success. That is when edit option will open up. So beyond what we have done, you will have to upload your recent passport size photographs, capture the photograph. Two of these things need to be done. Upload your scans or signature, left hand thumb impression, and also the medical council registration certificate. This can be the state medical council registration or any latest one that you have in PDF format. You will have all the details over here, maximum 1 MB. NEET PG so here once you do that, you will submit a final declaration. You will have that final declaration and then say submit after you complete this application. So that is pretty much what we have over here. You will just repeat what we had mentioned. Very important thing is you will not be able to change everything. Now we come to the question of what happens in case you submitted your application form and then realize after submitting your application form, you take every detail and then you realize that your name is wrong. Till last year, the NB information bulletin for NEET PG clearly mentioned that you cannot submit 2 application forms, and in case you submit 2 application forms, action will be taken against you. You will be debarred. There will be a lot of places they mention this, debarred, your application will be summarily rejected, etc. Don't worry about all that. Everything will work out fine. Okay, nobody has had a problem because of images, wrong images submitted. Nobody has a problem because of any other informations which is a minor issue, etc. Nothing will happen. They said debarment if you submit a second application. But in case your name is wrong, you find an issue, what you need to do is you already have paid and submitted to, not an issue. That payment you will not get back anyways, and that application form is forfeited anyways, because you can't use that. Because your admit card will have that name, you will not be able to take in the right credentials, or later it will have an issue. You will have an issue in the counseling. So what you need to do is submit another application form, exactly like we said from the beginning. Start with a new email ID, new phone number, have that for 6 months, submit the same details, correct the details whichever you want to resubmit, and then go ahead and finally make the payment. NB in this year's information brochure has mentioned that in case 2 applications are submitted from the same candidate, how would they come to know? They have the registration number, voter ID, and they will know that these are multiple applications. The second application, which is the highest application ID, these applications are IDs generated in sequence. Like this is the 27,529th person who is registering, as we see. So at least they have registered. So that sequence, whatever is the highest, will be taken up. The other application will be rejected. You will not be getting that refund of the first payment, but you will be able to get the new application done. When should you do it? When these non-editable fields, nationality, candidate's name, or you gave some wrong mobile number or anything, you want to change it, you can't get that mobile number now, then you submit a new application. If you had made a mistake in your father's name, mother's name, and you're not able to edit it because you submitted, you made a mistake over mark of identification, etc., then don't submit an application. Edit window will help you with that. During the edit window, you will be able to help. You'll be able to change it. You submitted a wrong image, photograph, then you will be able to still make a change during the edit window. But if you're still worried, you can go ahead and modify, submit a new application. This time they have done it. Why till last year, why the debarment clause was there was because multiple applications in the same name should not be there, because there have been fraudulent activities earlier where one person is appearing in one place and another person appears on behalf of the same individual in another place. They submit multiple applications. This has been a known case, and NBA has been acting on it based on then that is why they brought in all the biometric verification and everything. So in those cases they will definitely act, but if it is a genuine case, you can submit a new application in case you missed out anything. It should not happen, but in case you missed out anything. Now we'll quickly get into the final part. I'm opening the presentation. Just let me know whether there are any changes. What happens in case you have a problem? What do we need? We have already gone through the timelines. We have already gone through. 18th June is when you will get your admit card. So what do we need to carry for at the time of when you're going to the test center? The passport size photograph, exactly like the one that you uploaded over here, preferably, that needs to be pasted on the admit card that you get on 18th June, and that needs to be taken to the test center. We'll come up with other videos on what to do before you go to the test center, checking everything, etc., the checklist, etc. Second, you need to carry a photocopy of your permanent or provisional MCA registration certificate. And they need not necessarily be the same as what you uploaded, because there might be changes. But if you have it, well and good, but only a photocopy is required. Original is not required. You will come up with this query definitely again. Original is not required, only a photocopy is required. You will leave it with them. Third, you need an original ID card, a voter ID, a PAN or a passport or a driving license or an Aadhaar card. If you take a voter ID, PAN, passport, driving license, the exact number will be checked against the number that you have mentioned over here. Usually it will be checked. It needs to be in original, and it has to be there till the end of the time you complete your examination. Second, if you take an Aadhaar too, that is fine. Last year Aadhaar was sufficient. It is also mentioned, but it is not asked during the in the registration form. And finally, we'll quickly run you through what needs to be done in the process. You have any problem during the entire registration process, you have two options to help you out. One, NEET PG help desk. Obviously, the helpline number has changed this year. Note down the changed helpline number. You can do it through the helpline portal. Go to the helpline portal. There are two ways there. One, when we logged in, we showed you the application, right? Immediately after we logged in, we showed you that there was a helpline available, link available. You can raise a query there itself, or you can go to NBE's communication web portal. You can go to just search in Google on just click on the first link and you can raise a query in this portal. So you'll have to give, just hold on. So you can go to NBE communications. Is it fine now? NBE communications portal here. Go in and select a department, and then go ahead and finalize. You will ask for a confirmation OTP, and then you can go ahead and file your query. So we're going back to the presentation. So now, and the next option is basically the official website NADPort. They also have an option of sending your queries through a registered post, which they will respond to through a registered post. This will take around 3 weeks, 4 weeks, by which time your query will should have been sorted out by some other way. So that is not an advisable option. And you also have the other option, obviously, during the entire NEET PG counseling. There is a other excellent option that we would suggest: ZyNerd Telegram groups. You will get the best response to do it right throughout the counseling process. So, and overview of the entire thing, 16th onwards, today till 6th of May, 11:55, the complete process is there. complete process of registration happens. A quick overview of the process: fill in the registration form, get the user ID and password. You will not be able to change certain fields. Be very clear about it. User ID and password will come in through your SMS and email. As of now, we have received it only through the email. You will get it in your email. Fill your application form, upload your photograph, capture your photograph, both. Upload your thumb impression, upload your signature, upload your medical registration certificate in PDF format, choose your test city, make the payment of fees, ensure that the payment of fees says success, and then print out your application form, and that is the end of it, and with the transaction ID printed on it. Ensure payment is success. In case payment fails, then go ahead and make the payment again if you don't get a response within the next few hours, 4 hours or 5 hours. There will be an option of checking again. If that is not reflecting, it is a call between getting a better test city versus paying the additional amount of 3,500 or 2,500. If you pay twice for an application, one of the payments will be refunded back to you. So don't need to worry about that part. Instead of even waiting, you can go ahead and make the payment again. It is up to you to take a call. We have at least seen last year that Kerala, first day, the next day, within 24 hours, Kerala, some of the test cities were not available. We don't know this year how many they have come up with, but this was a start. Basically, it started right from within 24 hours itself. There have been cities completely being filled up. So that is pretty much. Pointers, again, for fields, MBBS qualification name should be as in the MBBS qualification certificate. In case there is a minor difference between MBBS qualification certificates and Aadhaar ID, you can go either ways, because anyways you will be taking your Aadhaar or voter ID or passport. That's also fine. Major changes, initial descriptions, etc. are not issues at all. Email and mobile number there will be used for MCC counseling and many state counselings later. Don't miss that. Have that available with you till the end of the counseling process. Use your mobile number, recharge it for 1 year now itself, so that it is available. User ID will be received from this email ID in case you want to do that. Name, nationality, email, mobile number and test city cannot be changed once submitted. The date of birth and gender cannot be changed now once you go through the first step of the process, but can be edited later. Permanent address is important in case your some of the states like West Bengal, where there is a state quota domicile based residence based criteria is based on the permanent address provided in the NBE exam. Many states don't take this, 1 or 2 may take this. So give a proper permanent address. Correspondence address, in case you select others in the test city selection. So in that case, under the test city, if my test city is not available, I'll select others and then go to save and next. In that scenario, my communication, whatever is my correspondent address in that state, NBE will try to accommodate me. They don't give confirmation, they will try to. You have an option at that point in time whether to select. Let us say I belong to Tamil Nadu and I belong to Kanyakumari. I can either go for a nearby state like Kerala, or if I'm in Chennai, Karnataka, etc., and choose Bangalore, or I can put in others and wait for Chennai or any Tamil Nadu location. It is up to you to take a call. We haven't been able to crack this at all any year because we haven't got the sample. So it is up to you to take a call. If you do it within the first day, you won't have this issue at all. MBBS qualification details, date of passing is the year of completion MBBS. It can be any one of when you got your certificates, the results, etc. we mentioned. First option is to provide the date when you got the results, if you are able to get that, or if that is mentioned in your degree certificate. If that is not available, your mark sheet based date of year of passing is fine. Your registration, so basically MCC, when you log into MCC, again we are repeating, email ID and mobile number that is going to be used is exactly this. What you're using for NB registration. You missed that, you won't be able to register for All India Counseling, so go ahead with that. OBC, again OBC, EWS, if you have a confusion, either you can wait for a few days, get that confusion clarified as to whether you are eligible for OBC, EWS, during which time you may lose your test center, or go ahead with applying this category and then take a call later. You might be, last few years we had the option of changing during the counseling process itself. Before All India Counseling starts, there is an option of changing. And note that BC in a state, OBC A in a state does not mean OBC in All India. There is a specific list of state-wise categories and income-based criteria. Look at the OBC video, OBC NCL ZyNerd video on YouTube for more information. So that is pretty much that we have. Choice of city, we have mentioned, these uploads we have mentioned, what to bring to the test center. Payment, if city is not critical, again we are mentioning, wait for 48 hours, not more than that, or make a payment again 3,500 rupees. It will definitely get refunded if the first payment has not reached them, and still it is not has reached them, but it's still not reflecting. JPG to PDF converters, we'll put in these converters in the descriptions. If you want JPG to PDF conversion of your medical registration certificate, you can do that. You can also use cam scanners or any scanners and then take a PDF. That is also fine, as long as it is pretty decent, then and everything is visible. That is not an issue at all. Reducing file image size, we'll be also uploading these compressed images links over there in the description. You can use those for reducing your file size to 50 to 80 KB for the signature, thumb impression and the photograph. So pretty much I think we have covered everything. Hope this was helpful. You will still be able to log into us in a you can just go ahead and join the Telegram group for complete information. We start our subscriptions only after the exams are over. We do it consciously so that the exam preparations become primary for you and not what will happen later. The better the rank, the better your seat is going to be. More information you have on counseling during this period, you gather a lot of information on counseling during this period, lower will be your rank. You go to you have the fear of missing out, go get subscriptions, etc. during this period. Your rank will go down low, which will create more problems for you. We always suggest complete your examination, then come back to ZyNerd. We'll take care of everything. Thanks a lot.